In a previous video, I made 4 color separation positive transparencies traced off of a color drawing of my son's Lego minifigure. Today I'm going to demonstrate the process for exposing, developing, and printing the screens to create a full color print, complete with the primaries, secondaries, and black. I'll be exposing 2 screens each with 2 of the separations. We call this 2-up gang printing. I'll start with the red and black on one screen, followed by the blue and yellow on another. Set the transparencies face up on the exposure unit's glass. Set the emulsified screen flat side down on the transparencies. Close the lid and expose the screen under vacuum pressure for 2 minutes. Since this is ultraviolet light, don't stay in the room, otherwise you risk damaging your eyes. After 2 minutes exposure, turn off the vacuum and light and remove the screen and transparencies, making sure to close the cover before you leave. In the developing sink, soak both sides of the screen and let water sit on the emulsion side for a good minute or 2. You'll notice the unexposed image as a lighter color compared to the exposed non-image. After the emulsion has soaked, attach the garden sprayer and spray out the unexposed emulsion. It's best to develop from the emulsion side of the screen, since spraying on the print side of the screen will bounce a lot of water back towards you. You should see the screen clear to yellow in the image areas before you finish development. Check the developing by holding the screen up to the light. Wherever light penetrates the image, ink will also pass. There's always some soft emulsion on the back side of the screen. If you don't sponge and rinse this soft emulsion off, it may migrate back into and clog the open areas of the screen, prohibiting printing later on. On a bright sunny day, set the screen out in the sun to cure and dry. We call this process post-exposure. Once the screen has cured, secure it in a printing board with hinge clamps and, using screen filler, touch up any open areas. While the screen filler dries, set up your paper for punch hole registration by marking the center line on each sheet. Line up the center line with a designated punch edge on the hole punch and punch each sheet individually. Punch a 1-inch strip of Mylar as well. Use the Mylar strip to hold your registration pins. Feed the pins through the Mylar strip and then attach the strip and pins to a sheet of paper. Designate this sheet as a registration dummy. Attach 2 strips of scrap mat board each to a short and long side of your dummy. These so-called puppet sticks will help you line up the dummy each time you set and reset the registration for each color run. Once the registration is set, tape the Mylar strip to the printing board, being careful not to accidentally move the registration dummy and strip out of register. Always double check your work. It helps to tape down 2 squares of scrap mat board on the near edge of the board, right under the near edge of the frame, mimicking the space created by the lower edges of the clamps on the far edge of the screen. And with a processed blue color. Always print holding a squeegee at a 45-degree angle to the screen and using firm pressure. It helps to push the ink back over to the leading edge of the image every time you print. Print the first run through the whole edition and make sure that the screen doesn't get loose in its hinge. While the prints are drying off camera, I have rinsed out the blue ink and cleaned off the tools. Next, I'll print process red or magenta. Secure the screen, line up the registration dummy, secure the pins with tape, and print through the edition. Wherever the red prints over the blue, we have purple, and of course wherever the red prints over the white, we have red. Clean up by removing any unused ink and placing it back in the jar. Rinse the screen thoroughly with water and wipe the tools down. In gang printing, it may be helpful to cover the unused run with a sheet of Mylar to protect it from stray ink from the current run. We're printing yellow next. Register and print in the same manner as before. Of course, we've added yellow, but now we also have green and orange as well. Our final run is black ink for the key image, which will pull all of the detail together and make sense of the image. The dummy sheet gets pretty beat up throughout the process, and you're not going to keep this as a print, but I always print it first anyway. I hope no one thinks that I'm too serious about this image. It wouldn't get a great grade in my class. Technically it's okay, but I did this really just for my son as a follow-up to a video he and I made almost a year ago now on how to make color separation transparencies. Hey Sam, remember when we made our video about the little Lego man that you made? Mm-hmm. I finally made the screen print.
That's good. Is it for me?
Yeah, you can keep it.
Thanks.
What are you going to do with it?
Can I see it, Sam?
I'm going to put it on display.
On display? Okay.
Sam.
Everything is awesome.